Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM23 Youth Factory. This is episode number 17. We are at the exact midway point of our season, and we check in with a situation that is unexpected for us. This season has not gone as well as hoped, but we also knew that as we were going to climb this ladder, we were going to find it increasingly difficult, even though we are improving as a club. The rapid climb, at some stage, we're just going to top out and be equal to our peers. It's not that time. But we have already taken more losses in the last 2 months of this season than we've had over the previous 2.5 seasons combined. So there are increasingly difficult scenarios we're finding ourselves in, and we're not coming out on top as often. That's not to say that we are bad, that we are struggling, that we are in trouble. Because actually the reality is we've only taken a total of 3 losses over all competitions all season. It's not that bad. We're still quite good. We are still quite phenomenal for our level. Just not as good as we've grown accustomed to being the last 2.5 seasons. 4 competitions we entered this year. We are eliminated from 2 of them already, well below what the expectation was for each of them. The FA Vase, an unfortunate penalties loss where we dominated the match but lost on penalties. The FA Cup, 6th tier. Somebody gets red carded 3 minutes into the match. Hard to say whether a Vanarama National South side is above our level or not under those circumstances, but we were played right off that pitch, but we only lost 2-0. We are still in the Les Phillips Cup. That is our league. That is just our league. Internal. 3rd round is where we're at within that competition. It's already getting down to just 16 clubs remaining. And then the league. We've lost a game within our league now. We've been finding it difficult of late. Not every match. Sometimes we absolutely blow out our opponents. But more and more and more often, we are finding 1-goal victories, where last season it was 2, 3, 4 goals every match. And then we had 1 shock result in a loss, 1 shock result in a draw, and otherwise we dominated. Trainer, our leading scorer, does not lead the league. He's a goal behind. It's not that far. We have the best average ratings for our top 2 players. We have the most assists still. But we are not beyond. We are not excessive beyond everybody else like we've grown accustomed to. We still have the top defense in the league by a single goal. Only 1 better than FC Bristol, who we were very fortunate to beat 2-1 when we played them. We're 11 points ahead. That's why we're still favorites at this halfway point of the season. But again, challenges are occurring. Difficulties are showing up on our schedule. Since that first draw and then subsequent loss in the FA Cup, here's how our results have gone over the last couple of months. 2-goal victories, and then 1 goal, and another 2-goal. So in 6 matches over the month of October, only once did we win by more than 2 goals. Last season, we averaged 3-goal victories. Averaged. We only managed to do 3 goals or better once in the entire month. And then we lose on penalties in the FA Vase to end the month. That's where we left off. We go into November and lose first match of the month against Hallen. There are 2 sides that are quite good in this league. We played both of them on the road. Combined, we had a negative goal differential against those 2 sides. We scored 3 goals. We gave up 4 in those 2 matches against those 2 sides. Okay, fine. It was on the road. We'll get them at home for the second half. And again, we should be winning the league. But those 2 clubs in particular gave us a heck of a challenge. And then, oh wait, we weren't done there yet. Okay, fine. We started winning again following that up, but we lost. We barely pulled off victories, 2-1, and then 2-1 again in the following match. Then we found a couple easier matches, started to get comfortable again. 3 straight road games though. One in that Les Phillips Cup, 5-2 against Gillingham Town. Barnstaple Town, 6-0. Was Gillingham Town even... Are they in our division or are they the division below? They are the division below, so they are in the 10th tier. Thing to remember about this cup that we have, the Western League Premier Division. Cornwall and Devon go straight to the Western League Premier Division upon promotion. However, the more eastern counties of that southwestern peninsula, they don't feed straight to the Western League Premier Division. There is a lower set of divisions that promotes into it, and that's all still part of this Western League. Those clubs are all included in this trophy that we're involved in, the one that we're still in. So last time we played a team a division below us, and that's what it took for us to start going, regaining our mojo, getting our confidence back. That then translated into Barnstaple Town and a 6-0 punishing performance that we put on them, with Schmizek scoring in the first minute, presumably on a corner kick. But to follow that up, Exmouth come right back and nearly steal a point. The confidence is not quite there, and the team selection has not quite been there either. Our best players are good and getting better. 2 months ago, Schmizek and Bick were right on a 100 current ability, and a month prior to that, they were below it. They're at 103 now and continuing to improve. Quintafera was in the high 90s. He's now right at a 100 and at exactly 2/3 of his potential with a 150 potential ability. Brooks, the player that will leave us at the end of the season, has progressed nicely. I think he was our he was our 3rd best. He's actually dropped to our 4th best. Either way, though, he is a 98 credibility, approaching that 100 mark, and he is also right at that 2/3 of the way towards his potential. Ashley Jones is catching up at a 96. So we have 5 players, average between them being a 100 current ability, and they absolutely get the majority of starts. Trainer, Penreese, Redknapp, all getting the majority. The guys that are now with the bottom 2 there only being a 74, making up the bulk of our squad. They get the bulk of our starts. But after that, our last few positions and all those extra sprinkled starts, as we've definitely had more than, well, at least 28 matches. I don't know if Bick has started every match of the season. I'm not quite sure what our total count is at the moment. But one thing is clear. The rest of the lineup, the sprinkled in starts here and there, they're scattered throughout the squad, including some really, really weak players getting a fair number of starts. Tom Fish, only 3 starts, and that's fine. As good as he is, he's getting kind of an appropriate number of appearances. Ryan Gordon should be starting a lot more often. He's still only gotten 8 starts. It's better than it was last year. He has difficulty with our assistant coach selecting him. Every once in a while, I'll go in and execute team selection and do the instant results, help the team out that way, and those always work out, and those are the better results. But when I go on vacation and leave it to the assistant manager, selections hit and miss. McFadden, 26, okay, that's fine. I don't have a backup left back. That explains why he's still getting selected very frequently. Atkins, 24 starts. I think that's about right for his ability. But Thornhill, Lanahan, Penreese, not getting very many starts, not getting the call. They could really benefit from starting more often. Chris Webb is only a 52, but 13 starts, 13 appearances off the bench. Mortland getting a fair number. I think Mortland's got a good total. Percival getting called up a little bit too often, I think, but we are really shorthanded when it comes to fullbacks. So getting him a chance to develop some would be great, but he's maybe not showing it at this point. I don't think he's really developed much at all, but I don't know. His performance in training apparently is really good. Yeah, so apparently he is developing pretty quickly since September when we called him up. He's gone from 3 to 3.5 gray stars on that lower end of quality. Doesn't have the technical ability, but is making progress in a number of areas, mentally especially. But that's only half the story. Let's look at the rest of the squad real quick. Under 23s, nothing happening. Nobody's getting any call-ups from our under 23s. That makes me happy. In the under 21s, none of the old guard, the original guys, are making any appearances whatsoever. And when we get our intake this year, I think it's about time that we part ways with probably all but the last three. Hallam, Kenley, and O'Sullivan, the only ones who actually made some sort of progress in current ability. We'll give them another year, but I think we are going to be ushering the rest out the door. They're not going to contribute to this team in any meaningful way. But look at our under 21s. 7 starts for Porteus. Clements, who missed the penalty that knocked us out. What is Clements doing on the pitch at all, in the lineup at all? Only 3 bench appearances, but 1 pivotal, and somehow gets selected for stepping up to the penalty and misses. And it was a terrible penalty. I don't mind as much seeing our U18s get selected over the U21s as they really are better prospects. But 3 bench appearances is all that we have from here. It's not a lot, but our youth teams, our development teams, are seeing a fair number of selections and appearances with the senior squad, which can only help development. So all in all, it's not bad. But we have taken some losses this season. We've already been knocked out of 2 competitions. We're not assured a league win yet, and we're certainly not assured anything in that 4th cup. Can we at least take 2 trophies this season? Let's go ahead and push forward. This took a lot longer explaining than I expected. You want to see some action. Let's get to it. December brought a goalless draw where we had a 3.5 XG and just couldn't get anything in the back of the net. The other team did absolutely nothing, but we just could not get a goal. So we're still, we're still cruising though. And so no worries about all of that. But we're into January now, which means the offers are inbound. I'm already getting them, actually. Over the last week or so, some of the markets opened a little early, and I've already had half a dozen offers of 0. I've also re-signed most of our guys for next season already. I'm down to just 3 expiring contracts. One of those was one of the last holdouts, non-contract guys from way back when that never wanted to sign one, that had thus far always turned down whatever offers came in. We finally got him to sign a regular contract, but it only went through this season. So before the end of the season, we're going to have to try again. And then I have 2, Bick and Schmizek, that are still nope, we're too big for the club now. We want to go elsewhere and don't want to sign. So they have expiring. Of course, we will be able to hang on to them as long as there's no offers that come in, and we'll be able to add a year to the contract if we must. But they're the 2 worrying ones. Everybody else that I want re-signed is re-signed. I let a player go for the first time for free. It was Yano. He was okay. He wasn't far from first team quality, but he didn't have potential. So when somebody came in, I let him go. Why bother keeping all of those players around? So I'm going to start more and more letting those outskirts players just depart. We don't need them to take up space. But in the meantime, our finances are doing well. They're growing. They're actually growing more rapidly this season than they had in the previous. We're getting some grant money at this level that we weren't getting in the lower levels, and it's helping. That extra income monthly now has us to 1.5 million. We're not far from asking for the next training facility upgrade, maybe another 500,000. So just before the end of the season, we'll try to get that in. But now we've got to get through January, hopefully with our team still intact. Just the 5th of January, and one of those two players that was a bit disgruntled and didn't want to sign anything has already agreed to terms with another team. We do have the loan back option for the rest of the year and the 50% profit percentage on next sale. But for roughly 10K, Schmizek is heading to Swindon Town, which is what, like League 1, League 2, something along those lines. I've already now accepted 3 offers for Schmizek with the same circumstances of the loan back and the 50%. And now Bick, the other guy who didn't want to sign a deal, same thing has happened, this time with Sheffield Wednesday have agreed to the loan back and the 50% and the same upfront of 10K that we had for Schmizek. Both of them, current value was only 2K as they were still on pretty low salaries, realistically, as both players didn't want to re-sign with the club. So this has been kind of an inevitable scenario because we couldn't get them to sign new deals, to give them pay raises, to increase their value, to make others come in and pay us more. So ultimately, it's really just about the profit portion and the loan back so that we can at least have players finish out the season. But it looks like we're headed for 3 players, most likely, out at the end of the year. That's going to be a difficult replacement as we move up a tier. And we're still only a week into January, so there's every possibility that somebody else is going to see a similar offer. But we've got a lot of pending contracts that start for next year that will rule out transfers for a lot of the players. Hopefully that helps keep things at bay. Here's the nature of the league right now. This was the 3rd place team in the league. We were at home for this one. Some extended highlights here. Speed those up a bit though. As we go really close on that one, it looked like it went just above the crossbar on its way towards the upper corner. Here's Jones. Jones, guarded by 2 guys, finds Gordon on the opposite post, who does get a shot on target, but Culverwell makes the stop. Here's Jones, out of position, probably out of a corner kick or something. There's Gordon. That's deflected, block cleared away, and starts the counterattack. And of that highlight, another long ball for Jones, who beats his man in the foot race and then cuts in. Oh, hits the inside of the post and just misses. Into the second half, here's Atkins with that cross for Jones. Keeper just gets a piece of it, barely a piece, and taps it off the post. Here in the 70th minute, we finally get the go-ahead goal on a free header there. They take this dangerous set piece but blast it over. That was their only highlight. They only had 5 shots in the entire match. 1.58 XG. Definitely not our most comprehensive performance, but outshot them by more than 3-1. Outpossessed by 72% to 28. Absolutely dominant performance. Went very close multiple times. 5 more matches have been played from that midway point where we had last checked in. Now 14 ahead in the points column. Our ratio of we should be at about plus 67 in goals is only plus 58, which means we're about 10 goals worse off than we were at this point last year. The last 2 years, really. On the record, the 1 draw, the 1 loss we had in the league all last season, we have just past the halfway point of this season. Definitely showing a little bit of weakness compared to where we were, but not bad. The big worrying thing now is how many more players will we lose. Neither of these 2 guys have signed. It's only 9th of January yet, but Bick has 10 offers that have been accepted. Schmizek has a few, so they're in contract negotiations at this point, and I would imagine one or both of them will sign on with somebody pretty soon. the literal gutting of our squad has finally happened. It nearly happened in the summer, and it ended up one player who we got on loan back for the rest of the year. Now, in January, while none of the deals are finalized, we now have our third player making an exit, and this time I could not negotiate the loan back without risking the deal. So the loan back is not in it. Penreese, our goalkeeper, they offered good money because his transfer value is 0. But we did get the 50% profit and a decent upfront cost. But it's not looking good at this point for the long-term health of our club, as we are going to have a whole bunch of holes to fill. I mean, this is like 4 of our 8 best players are going to be leaving either now or at the end of the season at this rate. Fantastic thing, even though we couldn't get it negotiated in the deal, they turn around and decide, hey, yes, let's go ahead and do it. Penreese being offered back on loan till the end of the season. They just want him listed as an important player. That appears to be the key. We only have him as our first choice goalkeeper. Well, this one hurts a bit. Schmizek is signing with Swindon Town. League 2, Swindon Town. Now, this is why this one hurts. 50% profit of next sale is fantastic. But as a League 2 side, most likely it's going to be a championship side that come in and offer, and they're only going to offer 100,000, 200,000, not 20 million like a championship side would get from a Premier League side. So the eventual outcome of this deal is going to really suck for us. This hurts more than any other, and Schmizek, of course, is the anchor of our defense, and our defense in this 9th tier is having a much harder time than it did in the 8th tier. In the 10th tier. Next season we're going to be in the 8th tier. Oh, almost certainly. And yet we're going to be missing, presumably, with 3 more deals being finalized in the near, or 2 more deals being finalized in the near future, we're going to be missing 4 key players. Now, of course, we have another new intake coming in. We have players growing and developing, but at this moment, assuming we lose all 4, assuming we continue to develop over the course of this season and then replace players, we will be no better than we are now. We will probably be a little worse than we are now. Just how things have gone with the intakes the last couple of years. We might get 1 or 2 players that are ready to step up and be on the senior squad, and given time would be nice, but we are a team that's gonna suffer a little bit next season, and we could be facing the we're in the right level for our ability a lot sooner than expected, and we may have to rely on a number of years of money coming in from big deals to upgrade the training facilities and the staff and whatnot to progress a lot earlier than expected. I thought we were going to get to about League 2 before that really happens, but with the minimum security, we're losing players left and right for really small amounts. And yeah, this is mid-January, folks. This might not even be the end of it. I think this is a great cliffhanger moment to go ahead and leave this one. Let's assume those other 2 guys will be gone, but we will continue on with January right up until that deadline passes for those higher divisions, as we are very much in jeopardy of losing up to 4 and possibly more. That's going to do it for this one, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.